So I have a background in improvised music, and there is a saying, and the saying is that something is close enough for jazz. And it's a little bit of a dig at jazz musicians, kind of implying that we never work on anything to a level of perfection. We just kind of work on it enough because we're going to make stuff up anyway. And if you play any jazz or improvised music, you know that this is not the case, that there is a lot of hard work that goes into improvising. It's not just a matter of playing whatever. And as one of my improvising teachers said, just throwing things at the wall and hoping that something sticks. So that's not what improvising and that's not what jazz is. But we can actually use this as a helpful tool in some moments, this idea that something is close enough for jazz. Because what it really means is that we know it enough that we can give a convincing performance, and then we can use our skills as improvisers to fill in any kind of empty areas, or maybe if there's any mistakes or any kind of unexpected happenings in the performance, we then use our skill as improvisers to cover up those areas. So this can be very helpful if you're working on a lot of music and you have to learn a lot of things very quickly. So this idea of reaching a level of absolute 100% mastery of all of the things that you must learn is maybe impossible for you in this week. You have a lot of performances, you have a lot of rehearsals that you're working towards. And so for some of those things, you can work to get the music close enough for jazz, as we would say. So to a level where it is acceptable, you're not going to offend anyone if you play it at the level that you're playing it, and you are also, you potentially know that you have the ability to cover up any mistakes or kind of holes in the music. So one thing that I've learned as a bass player is that often, because I play with community orchestras usually, so the pressure is not super high, and I like to be at the very end of the bass section, the very last bass on the line. And so if there is something really fast that I can't play, often it's enough to play the first note of every bar. So in that case, in the orchestral setting, it's probably better that I play the first note of every bar correctly than try and play some fast part and get everything wrong. So for me, this idea of just having a bit of a skeleton and a skeleton of the bass line that is going to reinforce the rest of the bass section, that for me is close enough for jazz. And I know this is really sacrilegious when we're talking about classical music, because I'm not a classical musician, even though I like to play it for my own professional development. I like to work on it in my own time. And so the idea of telling a classical musician that they don't have to learn everything 100% perfectly is probably very wrong. I don't know. I don't teach classical music. But I have taught a lot of classical musicians who want to learn to improvise and want to learn to free their playing the way and learn to play jazz. So I know the mindset that is drilled into classical musicians through their training is that everything must be 100% note perfect. And of course, this is not always possible given the amount of time we have and maybe the amount of music we have to work on. And so if we can get our music close enough for jazz, it removes this requirement for everything to have to be perfect. And if there is no possible way that you can get all the music you need to learn and be able to play perfect, then by trying to reach that level of perfection, you're just going to stress yourself out. So maybe this is a helpful idea, just to get something close enough for jazz, close enough that you're not going to offend anybody when you play what you play, and that you are confident enough that you can use improvisation, or you can maybe leave out some bits, or you can simplify something to a point where it is going to support the music, and probably no one's going to notice that you didn't play all of those notes in the fast passage like me on the double bass. So it's close enough for jazz is my little mantra for your practice today. Hi, I'm Erica. I am a musician and music teacher, And I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe for more practice tips, motivation and inspiration. And also share this video with any friends who are also practicing music. And finally, if you like, you can stick around for a short meditation at the end of this video to prepare you for a great day's practice. So happy practicing, and I'll see you next time. Bye. So we're going to take a few minutes to prepare for practice, to relax the body and the mind. You can take out your instrument, have any music, books, pencils ready. Then you can sit or stand with your instrument or without. And we're going to start with a soft focus in the eyes. Bring your awareness to the space you're in. Notice any sounds in the room, any smells. And then with the next exhale, closing the eyes. And we bring our awareness in to our bodies, feeling the weight of the body on the chair, or feeling the feet connected with the floor, maybe feeling the instrument in your hands, its texture under your fingers. And then bringing the awareness further in still to the breath and to the place where you feel it. Maybe the nose, the throat, the chest, the diaphragm. Feeling the rise of each inhale and the release of each exhale. And as you notice the breath, on each exhale, letting every muscle in your body release just a little bit more. Each exhale brings more relaxation to the body and more stillness to the mind. And if thoughts arise, just let them do what it is they want to do. Maybe they float by, maybe they stay. Just bringing your awareness back to the breath, back to each inhale and to the release of the exhale. Every breath relaxing the muscles in the body just a tiny bit more. And then bringing the awareness back out to the body, to the weight of the body in the chair, the feeling of your feet connected to the floor, the feeling of your instrument under your fingers. Then bringing the attention further out into the space, noticing any sounds in the room, however small they might be. And then gently blinking the eyes open, ready to start practice for the day.